Southport inquiry. Southport killer's brother says he feared Rudakabana would kill a family member. 1. Inquiry adjourned for the day. Published at 16:39 Greenwich Mean Time. Johnny Humphreys. BBC News. Dion says his brother never spoke to me directly about being bullied, saying that he heard about it from his father. He adds that he didn't see any bullying of AR with his own eyes. Chairman Sir Adrian Fulford then calls an end to the day's proceedings. Dion Rudakabana, brother of the Southport killer, will resume giving his evidence from 9:45 Greenwich Mean Time on Wednesday. 2. School denied Dion's reports of bullying. Published at 16:36 Greenwich Mean Time. Johnny Humphreys. BBC News. Had Dion seen any evidence that AR was bullied at school? Richard Boyle asks. He responds saying that at some point after February 2019, while AR was in Year 8 at the Range High School, he became aware that his brother was being bullied. Dion says he remembers his father speaking to a teacher about it quite frequently after school, saying that his father had brought up the bullying on behalf of his brother. He confirms that after AR was expelled, he heard from other pupils that it was widely known in his year group he was being bullied. Boyle says that the range staff strongly denied a comment in Dion's statement suggesting there were a lot of troublemakers in that school. The teacher said Dion continued to stay at the school after AR was expelled. It's not relevant to the troublemakers. I don't know what extent of trouble there would have to be for me to leave, Dion says. It was never sufficient for me to leave. The school also denied AR was subjected to a systematic pattern of bullying. 3. Dion tells inquiry about the last time he saw his brother. Published at 16:30 Greenwich Mean Time. Johnny Humphreys. BBC News. Boyle moves on to ask Dion about his brother's capacity for empathy, which he says seemed to reduce over time. In his earlier statement, Dion referred to his brother as reminding him of a character in the film No Country for Old Men. Yeah, I think I've been told that character's meant to be a sociopath, and that's why I used the word there, he says. He agrees that from around 2021 AR would dominate the living room, and he would avoid it. Dion says the last interaction he had with his brother was in summer 2023. Richard Boyle asks Dion to confirm that on that occasion their parents asked AR to say goodbye to him as he was leaving to see his friends. And in response AR threw a bottle at you. Dion says he had closed the door before the bottle hit. At the time this wasn't a particularly significant event other than it being the last interaction, he tells the inquiry. 4. Parents lost control of AR, brother says. Published at 16:26 Greenwich Mean Time. Johnny Humphreys. BBC News. Dion Rudakabana says his parents were looking for outside services to help his brother. Richard Boyle, one of the counsel to the inquiry, pulls up some records from Lancashire County Council, dated August 18, 2021. It refers to AR telling a social worker his dad hits 8-year-olds and hits Dion. When asked, AR confirmed he was referring to himself when he was aged 8. The records referred to Dion telling the social worker that they would get a smacked bottom for being naughty when they were younger, but he had no concerns about his dad and had not been hit recently. Dion tells the inquiry around that time, AR had read some articles by educational psychologists which suggested physically striking children could traumatize them, and that he felt very wronged by being smacked as a young boy. Boyle says in his statement, AR and Dion's father, Alphonse, said he had sometimes smacked the boys when they were little and when they were fighting each other. Boyle asks, would you agree your parents had lost control of AR? Yes, Dion replies. 5. It would have been a heavy risk to punish AR, brother says. Published at 16:16 Greenwich Mean Time. Johnny Humphreys. BBC News. Dion is asked about how much he knew about his brother's contact with mental health or police services. Dion replies he covered his ears when discussions were going on because I didn't want to hear it. Boyle asks how his parents reacted to AR's violent behavior. It was always shocking. I think it was the fear that marked all of these, he says. It was always a response to a quite trying situation, so it didn't make sense to try and punish him. Also, there was a heavy risk in doing so. Dion clarifies that he means AR was not just being naughty, but was struggling to manage situations. I don't know what punishment would have looked like. We said there was a general risk to life in general conversation. If you try to confront him, it wouldn't be responded to well, he says. 6. Dr. afraid brother would kill a member of his family. Published at 16:12 Greenwich Mean Time. Johnny Humphreys. BBC News. Boyle refers to a message Dr. sent to a friend when he was visiting home from university in 2022. The message talked about AR becoming annoyed by him speaking late at night because of the thin walls. Dr. suggested that if AR became violent, too much damage would be caused by my dad trying to restrain him. He also told his friend there was a risk of him doing something potentially fatal. He said, "The fights are scary because of the danger of someone dying." By that point, in 2022, Dion said he believed his brother had tried to stab his father before, adding that he was not sure. Boyle then asks, "By this time you had a serious fear that your brother would kill a member of your family?" "If things escalated to that point," he replies. Dr. says he never thought to tell anyone about that fear, because things had been growing gradually. There was no point of alarm to go and report it. He adds that he was away from the family home a lot whilst at university. 7. Dion Rudakabana had stopped speaking to his brother by 2023. Published at 16:02 Greenwich Mean Time. Johnny Humphreys. BBC News. Dion Rudakabana tells the inquiry AR's behavior became significantly more violent after he was expelled from Range High School in Formby, Merseyside, in October 2019. He said, "It opened up to everyone in the house and things are basically getting smashed." Mr. Boyle asked, "Did that continue on all the way through until 2024? Dion Rudakabana said there were periods of improvement in 2020, but then progressively got worse again. He said after he left for university in 2022, AR spoke to him less, because he was not familiar with having me around, and by 2023 that had gone to nothing. 8. Dion Rudakabana, increasingly wary of his brother. Published at 15:53 Greenwich Mean Time. Johnny Humphreys. BBC News. Dion Rudakabana was diagnosed with a neuromuscular disorder at the age of 12, which led to him becoming a wheelchair user, and led to his parents helping him more. Mr. Boyle asked if that changed his relationship with his brother, who the inquiry is referring to as AR. "There was tension that came about," he said. "Up until that age he got more attention than I did because he was younger than me, so there was a change in focus around that time." He agreed that AR appeared to resent this change. Dion Rudakabana confirmed that after the move to Southport, AR's mood appeared to deteriorate, particularly when he moved from primary school to Range High School in Formby. He said AR would become despondent and have violent outbursts. "You were worried he would try and hit you?" Mr. Boyle asked. His frustration was a result of his lower mood. "But yeah, I was concerned because he was bigger, physically larger, and it would hurt more." Dion Rudakabana agreed that he became increasingly wary of his brother, who would hit him regularly. He said he did not recall AR being violent to his parents before he was expelled from Range High School in 2019. 9. Southport killer's older brother says their conversations were intense. Published at 15:47 Greenwich Mean Time. Johnny Humphreys. BBC News. Dion Rudakabana is being questioned by Richard Boyle, a member of council to the inquiry. He is asked if his parents ever spoke of their experiences in the Rwandan genocide, which caused them to seek asylum in the UK. He replies, "Particular stories I guess slowly accumulated over time from 12-14 years." He is asked if those stories had an impact on their family life. "My parents used discretion in telling us. Things were left out until we were older," he explains. "I wouldn't say I was traumatized by them, but I emotionally engaged with them." Mr. Boyle asks about what it was like growing up with his younger brother Axel. Mr. Rudakabana says their conversations were intense and more involved, likely due to them both being autistic. He said his brother would hit him, but in hindsight, that was not unusual for primary school-aged boys. 10. Dion Rudakabana begins to give evidence. Published at 15:39 Greenwich Mean Time. Johnny Humphreys. BBC News. Dion Rudakabana has taken the oath by swearing on the Bible. He is appearing on a video link from a remote location, and his image is not being broadcast. He confirms that a statement he gave to police is accurate, but is not in chronological order and lacked nuance. He agrees this is likely the case because he is autistic.